Good morning. I'm the Ancient Warrior, and welcome to Prepping USA. I'm broadcasting from Free America. You know, saying I'm broadcasting from Free America has a bigger connotation these days than it ever did. We've been talking about barter and the need for it. So let's go back and look at why I believe people need to be prepared to barter. Now, we're going to look at two countries, Argentina and Venezuela. Argentina's been a free nation, a sovereign nation for 200 years. In 200 years, they have defaulted on their loans 5 times. So that means every 40 years they're defaulting for some reason. The biggest reason is because of corruption from their socialist governments. Now, with that being said, let's look at Venezuela. We're going to look harder at Venezuela for a reason. In the late part of 98-99, Hugo Chavez became the dictator, president/dictator of Venezuela. And they were always ragging on the United States, on George Bush. Guys, in 2012, the government required all Venezuelans to bring their firearms down to the army bases to be registered. To this date, as far as I know, nobody ever got their guns back. If they can keep you from defending yourself, they can do whatever they want to you. Government is a they in that case. Socialist governments in that case. Then Maduro. You know, I read an article today coming out of Caracas saying that grocery stores are selling molded bread, spoiled meats, you know, just whatever they can, you know, eggs that on the verge of going bad. These people are suffering because of the regime that Chavez and Maduro has had them under. And they will not be able to come out from under it until they have the weapons and the means and the leadership and the common sense to build a country as close to as they can to the United States. Having a constitution, having law-abiding politicians as much as you can get. But this is all about government controls on you. Now, barter is known by another name. Black market. Anytime the government's not getting their hands, getting their cut out of the pie, they call it black market. Now, I used to follow a guy out of Argentina called went by the handle Furfowl. And he was always talking about what he wished he'd have stocked up more on. He is a prepper, and he wished he'd have stocked up more on this and that. And I haven't seen anything in several years from Furfowl. He moved from Argentina, went to Mexico, found out how corrupt Mexico was, and moved to the United States. Then he moved from the United States to Europe. And I don't know if he left the United States because he couldn't get the immigration status he needed. Him and his family just left. And I think the last thing I saw about him is he was living either in Europe or Asia one. I'm not sure which. Of recent, I've been following a guy named Carlos. He lives in Venezuela. And he's been lamenting on what he wished he'd have stocked up more on. So that's the reason we're going to talk about barter. See, Venezuela's been in the hooks of this over 6 years now. Heck, they've been under a socialist regime 20 years now. The guns, Maduro and Chavez required everybody to register their guns, so 6 years ago, they all lost their guns. So let's talk about some of the things that I believe you need to have. You guys have always heard me say, spices, 98 cents. Could be worth its weight in gold. Garlic. That was onion powder a minute ago. Garlic. Believe it or not, body powders. Here's one that everybody will understand. Hand sanitizers. You know, every time I go on a trip, I grab these. This is shampoo. Also, hand creams. You know, these are the things that you need to stock up big on. Everything I showed you in that bag is $1 or less. You can go to salvage stores and buy cases of this stuff for under $20. Stick it back under, you know, as far as I know, none of that stuff ever goes bad. These are the things you're going to have. You know, those of you that are stocking up on gold, silver, platinum, and palladium, that's great. How do you cook it? How do you keep your families from getting sick using that? Guys, one of the things I'm going to tell you is small medical supplies is also important. Chili powder. Believe it or not, it's got multiple uses. I have seen guys use it as a means to stop bleeding. You know, everybody talks about, excuse me, everybody talks about salt, sugar, pepper, honey, vinegar, maple syrup. But these are the other things that you need. You know, people are going to want to trade for things. People are going to want to try to stay clean as much as they can. Now, one of the things I'm going to tell each and every one of you, that if the Democrats do get control of the House and the Senate and the Congress again, Senate, they've already told us they're going to take away all the tax reductions, and they're going to hike taxes on corporates and you and me and everybody. They're going to take Second Amendment and gut it. So if you're told for some reason to bring your guns into the police station or to the army barracks, find a way to bury them. Get them hidden. You know, these are the things. Ammunition. Don't only buy just ammunition that you've got guns for. Heck, buy odd calibers. 7.62 by 54. 22s. Long and shorts. 410. Buy, if you got a 12 gauge, buy birdshot. And if you're like me, I've got a riot gun, what they used to call a riot gun, an 18-inch barrel. It's useless for hunting. So find you, see what it costs to buy a barrel, a long barrel for that gun. It's easy to swap them out. You know, it's not rocket science here, folks. But these are the things you need to prepare for. I'm going to do my best in the month of September to have you a video a day, at least between the 1st and the 15th. I'm going to take a well-deserved vacation in September for about 7 or 8 days. So I may or may not post. Well, folks, that's some of the things I think you need to be buying to barter with and acquiring. Seeds, lots of them. Get them into glass jars, airtight glass jars. And don't buy heirlooms, non-hybrid. So that's a world according to the ancient warrior. Be blessed and have a good day in free America.